I had a bit of a debate. I had a little bit of a debate with myself in the 2 minutes between finishing the sidecar race and starting this recording. And I was debating between getting, a fair amount of videos recorded and doing all of the TT races in the order they were done in 2004. And I've decided on doing the TT races in the order they were done in 2004, which makes the second race of the 2004 Isle of Man TT the Formula 1 TT, which is 4 laps of the fucking track, which is going to take just over an hour. So it's 10 to 5 now, which means that this race should probably end at about 6, and I don't have a lot to talk about, but fuck it, I'm going to do it anyway. And then what I can do, I don't know why I said can so weird, but what I could do is, here's a new bike that's been unlocked. What is it? Oh, it's the Suzuki. Okay, well, I don't want to ride that just yet. I'm going to go for a... Formula 1 is just liter bikes, apparently. Which is... I'm not sure which is the event that lets you ride 250s. I mean 750, sorry. I think it might be the senior. So I'll have to save my... I'll have to save using the Kawasaki 750 for the senior TT. And I'll just ride a regular, ZX 10R, wherever it is, for the Formula 1. So we'll put it in green and black and more black, and I'll put myself in green, in green and black, and a little bit more green and black, and then we'll head out for an hour-long race. Because fuck it, I guess. I don't really care about viewing figures. I need to make sure to pit at the end of lap 2. If I don't do that, everything's balked forever. But as long as I do that, I should be fine. So we've got John McGuinness, Jason Griffiths, Adrian Archibald, Sean Harris, Richard Britton, Ian Locker. Paul McNally might be real, but everyone below him is definitely made up. And I'm pretty sure there are some funny pun names in there, but I don't know. I think the pun names might come in different categories. The Formula 1 TT is the event. They want to make it very serious. It's got to be very serious. Keep the front wheel down. And, well, here we are. We're away. 4-lap race. Fastest bikes in the game. Coming straight after the sidecars, which are pretty much the slowest bikes in the game. I don't know if a sidecar could beat a 125 in a race. Probably couldn't, because the 125 would be able to carry actual corner speed, whereas you and your sidecar struggle with the corners. I know I can do a 17-minute lap on this bike, on this track, in this event, because I did it. I did a 17-minute lap before I ran out of petrol. When I did that, the practice race to make sure that you could run out of petrol and stuff. So I should be pretty quick, and there's no excuses for crashing on this one because I'm on a solo, not a sidecar, and I know I can do lap after lap of the TT and only crash once, which means that really there should be no reason for me to not be able to do lap after lap of the TT and not crash at all. Because I think I crashed at least once in every event of the Manx GP, which is kind of embarrassing because you only have to do 1 lap in that, whereas this is 4. So I think the more laps I can do without crashing, the better. And the more laps I can do without crashing, the quicker we'll be, which means that I'll have to think of less things to talk about, which means we can get this all done and over with a little, just that bit faster. Not that I really want everything to be over with. I really do like the TT. I really do like this game, but When a video comes up and it's like more than an hour long, you're like, eh. Especially if you know it's just going to be one guy doing his let's play of a racing game, and you know that he's not too good at commentary at the best of times, let alone when he has to talk to himself for an hour with, you know, a fairly limited amount of stimulation and things that he could say, especially when he's used up nearly all of the talking points he had in the sidecar race that he just recorded. So, you know, strap in for the long haul on this one, lads. We're really going pretty hardcore. I had to delete my Tourist Trophy save file when I got home from school today before I started recording this, because I only had 20 gigabytes free. 20 gigabytes? Kilobytes, which is a very different unit of measure. I only had 20 kilobytes left, and I knew that that probably wasn't going to be enough to be able to save. And this game doesn't have autosave, and it probably wouldn't warn me that there wasn't enough free space on the memory card until I tried hitting the save button. At which point I could just put in my second card, save onto there, and then copy it over later. But if I only had one card, like I did, shit, I don't even know why I crashed there. Probably because I hit that curb and I don't know, this game does understeer really weirdly, and I'm gonna call it understeer even though, well, you get what I mean. The front wheel just like slides along the road instead of turning, because the rider in the game, in the animation, turns the front wheel towards the apex of the corner, which I'm pretty sure isn't the done thing in motorbike racing. I mean, I know you do have to turn the handlebars towards the way you want to go, but like, to get the bike leaned in and stuff, you're supposed to steer outwards or something, is what I read in a book printed in like the early 2000s. So I don't know if that's true anymore. Would probably have been, I don't know if they would have done it in the TT. I don't steer outwards before I lean my bike over. Not that I lean my bike over very far, because it's only a Chinese 50cc on Chinese bicycle tires, but you know, I like to feel like I'm getting fairly leaned over. I know that I'm not, but I like to feel like I am. Maybe I need to watch that cornering Bible video or whatever again, just to make sure I'm doing stuff right. I don't think I need to learn faster riding techniques when I'm on a 50cc, you know, and superbike riding techniques aren't exactly going to be relevant to me either, because I'm moving up to a supermoto rather than, you know, a sports looking bike. But supermotos are supposed to get the most leaned over out of all bikes, so maybe I should learn how to lean and stuff. Again, you know, Chinese though, I don't know how the tires will hold up. And new tires are expensive, so I don't want to go about replacing them just so I can lean over a little bit more. The Formula 1 TT in 2004. Okay, let's talk about this for a second. I know that in the 90s and stuff, the Formula 1 TT was related to national superbike racing. I know. Even before that, the TT was related to international bike racing, and then all the riders were like, "No, I don't want to do that no more. Thanks, but no thanks." And then it was right to national series for a while, and I'm not sure I don't think it is anymore. I know that the BSB guys don't do a round out on the Isle of Man no more, so probably not related to anything like that anymore. But I do remember watching a video of Carl Fogarty and some other guy whose name I've forgotten, but probably shouldn't have forgotten. One of them was on a Norton, is what I remember. Racing at the TT, which is either because Fogarty was interested in the TT or because the TT was part of just British Superbike racing. Really, I don't know. Which means that this being a Formula One race in 2004, would this have been at all related to? Nah, probably not. I don't know. I don't know what the Formula One TT is about then, to be honest. This is a little bit before my time. Even though this is a game that I grew up on, it doesn't really give you a lot of information about what each race is actually about and for. You know what I mean? Like, obviously the production races are for production bikes, and the lightweight races are for lightweight bikes, and the sidecars are for sidecars. I think the junior and the senior TTs are about like how much experience you have as a TT rider or how old you are. One of those two. But the Formula One right now in my mind is eluding me as to what it could be for. Is it for prototype bikes maybe? Don't know. Just don't know. The modern categories, even though there are a lot less of them, make a fair bit more sense, I reckon. Fuck's up on the curb again. You need to stay away from those because you'll crash. You know, super sport, super stock, super bike, sidecar, and electric and lightweight, and that's it. There's a lot less variety in engine capacities though. It sounds like there's a similar amount of classes, but no more 125s, no more 250s, no more 750s, none of that. Just, you know, you have an electric engine, you have a 600cc engine, you have a 1000cc engine, or you have a 650 twin, and that's it. And I know that, you know, in the days of this game, bikes with the same engine would have raced against each other, like capacity and stuff. So you would have pretty much only had 125s versus 125s and 400s versus 400s. And that kind of thing. But, you know, it's like there's still more different bikes over out there on the track. Also, we're going through this section about 2 minutes before I did on the sidecar, which means that 2 laps in this probably going to take just over half hour. So yeah, I was right about the 1 hour race length. Although you do have to take into account that I'm going to pit. Pitting doesn't really take that long, you know, it's fuel and tires. And that in this game doesn't take long at all. Doesn't take long in real life either.
It's all uphill from here. Riding hard and fast through this series. At the 25-mile marker.
Although I'm pretty sure that you can't fuel up in terms of laps. Like, you can't give yourself 2 laps of fuel. You have to give yourself however many units. And you start each race with a full tank. So, like, when you pit, you have to completely refill. Otherwise, you won't make it to the end. Although it does give you options as to how much fuel you actually want. Which is nice of them. I don't know what it's for, but they do it for you.
You need a good line for all these fast corners.
my reward for finishing this race is going to be going downstairs and washing up all of the dishes and stuff from this morning and yesterday, but that's fine. You know, I choose to put all that stuff off and record instead of actually doing it. So, you know, it's my fault. But I'll be doing it with the satisfaction that I won, not just one, but 2 TT races. Hopefully. You know, that second TT win. I mean, winning the races in this game is pretty much guaranteed. Well, I mean, winning like the TT and the Manx and stuff is pretty much guaranteed. You can be so much faster than the AI. When the AI are actually on the same track as you, things can become more difficult if you choose the wrong bike. As I learned on the Yamaha FZR, and I'm pretty sure a Triumph at some point earlier on in the game. So, you know, I'm pretty much guaranteed to win. The little asterisk is you'll win as long as 1, you don't crash too much, and 2, you remember to hit the pits at the end of lap 2. You know, we'll grant you the win if you want it, as long as you fill out those requirements. And I've only crashed twice so far. So, you know, I'm gonna give myself. I mean, I'm not gonna give myself 3 crashes because it's only been 1 lap so far, and like each lap of this game is really long. So, you know, you need to be. I'll give myself 2 crashes per lap, and I'll be happy. 0, and I'll be really happy. 1, and I'll be okay. You know, 2 crashes, and it'll be 2 crashes, and I'm okay. 1, I'm happy. 0, I'm really happy. And then when I hit 3 like that, I'm gonna be like, ugh, can't believe I just done that. Get off the bumpy stuff. Through windy corner. Did that pretty well. Need to stay away from the edge of the road because that's where it's bumpy. I'm pretty sure from what I've seen so far, you know, the very little that I've seen so far of the new TT game, most people seem to be able to get laps of around 19 minutes, and obviously, you know, that time is going to come straight down because the game's been out for like 24 hours max at this point when I'm recording this anyway. It came out a couple of weeks ago. For anyone actually watching this. Whereas my fastest lap in this game is 17 minutes, and I'm pretty sure the world record in this game, or at least the YouTube video titled world record, is somewhere around 15-16 minutes. And in real life, I think it's like low 17 minutes or something. I don't know. The point is, I'm pretty sure people are going to be breaking or going even faster than this game in the new game at some point. Unless the new realistic physics and the new realistic modeling of the TT course have slowed down, you know, the bikes enough that even with all the modern technology and the modern graphics letting you see where the racing line is, then maybe they won't be able to beat lap records that have stood since like YouTube videos recorded in 2007. And by recorded, I mean someone pointed a camcorder at the screen. And then I had to upload the video in like 3 parts because their account wasn't like properly processed yet, so they could only upload like 10 minutes maximum. There we go then. Coming up any second now, that's 1 lap done. 17:41, I think, is a pretty respectable time, especially for doing a bunch of crashes. 3 crashes, if I remember correctly. So this time by, I need to not do any crashes. Would be the way to go, really. But, you know, just keep crashes to a minimum. And remember to pull in for a pit stop. If we reckon that 17:41 is going to be my average lap time, let's do a little bit of maths because, you know, like I've been saying, no commentary, not a lot of else to do, so we might as well do maths. I dropped maths after GCSE, and I'm pretty sure I only got like a C or a D. So I apologize if my maths isn't so good, but I should be able to do, you know, multiplication and stuff. So we'll round that to 17:30, because you can give or take 10 seconds, because each crash, I think, takes somewhere around 10 seconds. You know, watching the crash actually happen and trying to accelerate back up to speed without like looping off the back of the bike. So we'll say 17:30 if I can crash like 1 less time, which I usually do. 3 crashes is a little bit much for me, actually. Usually it's only 1. Although that's when I'm, you know, silent and concentrating. When I'm talking, I guess I can add on an extra crash, you know, but 3 still for that is a little bit much. So we'll say 17:30. So 2 times 17:30 would make 27. Add on the extra minute from the 30 is 28. Add on the extra 7 minutes, 28, 29, 35 minutes for 2 laps if I crash twice each time around. And yeah, so that'll add up to about 1 hour and 10, which sounds about right for the times that the AI were getting, actually, if I remember right from the results screen of the race that I had to retire from because I ran out of fuel. You'll be able to tell when the bike's running out of fuel because the little damage icon down by the speedo, you can see the petrol tank is already going yellow. It will start to flash red when the bike's gonna die, and then I think you can still get a couple of miles out of flashing red, and then the bike will just conk out and roll to a stop, and there's nothing you can do about it. I guess you can't. I'm not sure if you're allowed to do this in real life, but you can't get some bloke to run over to you with a jerry can in this game and, you know, plonk a little bit extra in the tank to get you around to the pits. Nah, in real life, when they run out of petrol or something goes wrong with the bike, they just park it up and sit at the side of the track. Well, they did in '97. These days, they probably have like a helicopter that can come and collect them, if they're a part of the big team. But in the videotape I have of the 1997 TT, every time something goes wrong with the bike, they park it up in like a little lay-by at the side of the road, and they sit there and watch the rest of the race happen, which is pretty cool. You know, they're probably not too happy about watching the race happen rather than them being in it, but you know, shit. It's not like the Suzuka 8 Hours. They can't push the bike along the side of the track to get it back to the pits, because the Suzuka 8 Hours, well, I'm thinking of the Suzuka 8 Hours 1986 that I've watched a video of. I haven't watched the more recent 8 Hours, but I'm going to try and watch this year's one. I don't know if it'll be live. I don't know if I'll like watch a replay or something. Just stay up at night watching 8 hours of bike racing, but that sounds like a good night to me. But I know that, you know, if they crash a bike there, or they run a bike out of fuel there, they pick it up again. and walk it back to the pits. But that's because it's an endurance race and you can get away with doing that kind of stuff because, you know, you'll lose a lot of time, but there's potential to make it up because you've got like another 6 hours to ride it, if you see what I mean. Whereas at like something like the TT, I mean, yeah, Suzuka is a pretty long track, but it's still a Grand Prix track. Whereas, you know, the TT is 37 and change miles long. And you can see how worn out the dudes at Suzuka get trying to push their bikes, you know, just down the back straight from Spoon Curve, which I guess is uphill a lot of the way. So I guess that's like understandable. You know, bikes are heavy, even in neutral and when their wheels and brakes are working fine. Bikes are very heavy to push around, especially if you've worn yourself out riding it as hard as you can for the last, you know, 2 hours. But at the TT, if you ran out of fuel, you'd have to push the bike up and over a mountain to get it back. And by the time you did that, everyone else would be done. Plus, pushing the bike along the side of the track at the TT would probably be pretty dangerous compared to, you know, pushing it along the grass or like along the white line at Suzuka. Because as a Grand Prix track, Suzuka is really wide, you know, good visibility around all the corners. You could wander off, push it around the back of a gravel trap to stay out of everyone's way. Whereas around here, you know, the outside of one corner is the blind apex of the next. And if you're standing there like a turkey with your great big Honda VTR, you're basically a standing target. For the next bike to come through and murder you. It's a safety thing, is what I'm saying, and an understandable safety thing. Not like let's try and think of a safety thing that's not understandable. I've blanked. I'm sure there's loads. You know, think of your own example. The point is, the Suzuka 8 Hour and the Isle of Man are different races, but they're both pretty neat. Actually, you get some Suzuka 8 Hours bikes in Tourist Trophy at the end of the game. You can collect a couple of 8 Hour bikes, and then there's a bonus championship that you can unlock to ride them in. But even though the game has Suzuka, and I'm pretty sure it has Suzuka at various times of day, I mean, not progressive. Like, the time of day doesn't change, I'm pretty sure, in Tourist Trophy, but there are a couple of preset daytime and nighttime tracks. I'm pretty sure there are a couple of environments that have multiple times that you could, you know, set in an endurance race in. And Gran Turismo is supposed to be known for its endurance races, you know, so like, why there aren't any endurance races in Tourist Trophy when they have the bike and they have the track, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Polyphony really dropped the ball on a Tourist Trophy, to be honest. I mean, I still like it, but it could have been a lot more. Even if it is just a spin-off of Gran Turismo 4, you know, they could have chucked maybe an endurance race or two in there. Standing starts, maybe. A couple more bikes on the track. Well, there's the second crash that I'm allowed. Comes at a place that I don't usually have a problem with. I don't even recognize this area. Oh wait, now I do. When I was a kid, Driver 3 influenced me to try and take that junction you saw back there to see if I could, you know, go off and explore the island. Because, you know, Driver 3, I could drive wherever I want. Why can't I drive wherever I want in a TT Superbikes? And I was pretty harshly met with an invisible wall, which it didn't. I wouldn't say it crushed young me, but it was a little bit of an eye opener. No, mum, she's just sent me a text that has appeared on my screen. I haven't remembered the washing in the washing machine. Luckily, there's only a little over half hour. Fuck, straight into a house. I was trying to read the text she sent me. Fuck. Don't text and ride, kids. That's the third crash this time, so I'm not allowed to crash at all over the mountain. Yeah, this race has actually gone by a little bit quicker than I thought it would. I mean, it's still on pace. Obviously, I haven't done the enormous trek, you know, the 6, 7 minute trek over the mountain just yet. But I will have done in a minute. And you know, it's only 20 past 5 so far, which means that if I can keep up this pace, which I should be able to, you know, only doing 3 crashes per lap. I mean, yeah, it's losing me something like 30 seconds. But by the same token, you know, it's not a ridiculous amount of crashes. It's not like the amount of crashes I had in the sidecar race. You know, I'm on track to set maybe a 17:30 this time by. I mean, I have to go into the pits, which is... Pitting at the TT is a little bit of an experience. They have an electronic limiter these days. But back in 2004 and 1997 and stuff, and all the TTs I'm familiar with, or familiar, quote unquote, I'm only really familiar with the 97 TT because that was an actual like tape of it about like you know, how it was. It's got actual commentary from a guy who's cool, whose name I can't remember. Brown trousers. Yeah, who actually talks about the things that happen. 2004 TT I only know because of this game, which, you know, leads to a lot of the things I have where I don't know what the Formula 1 TT is about and that kind of thing. Which I'll look it up, but if someone wants to be nice and also explain in the comments as well, that would be very nice of you. Through the years, the Formula 1 TT has probably been like, as well as 1000s, probably like 750s and all that, and 500s probably, maybe, and all that kind of stuff, because they've raced a whole host of bikes at the TT. At one point they did 50 cc's. I'm pretty sure the 50 cc's that they raced here would have done, you know, decent mile an hour, rather than being the ones that they make 16-year-olds ride in the present time, that struggle to hit 30. But I know that my bike is faster than that. Wink, wink. Nudge. Pause for effect. Nudge. Anyway, pitting at the TT, there's a box on pit entrance, and you have to slam on the brakes, stop inside the box, and then you can go into the pits. I think probably whatever speed you want. The pit lane is pretty short though, so you can't pick up a lot of speed. And this game takes over for you once you've stopped in the box anyway. Actually, I'm not... When I pit, you know, first time around, because I wasn't talking, I hadn't crashed at all for the last 2 laps, so I was completely on my own, rather than being with other bikes like I am now. So I don't actually know if this game requires you to stop before you go into the pits, but I did anyway. And it's what I'm going to do because that's just cool. It's cooler than, like, you know, slowing down and flicking a limiter on. tell you that. But at the same time, it's also cooler than slowing down to a certain speed and manually trying to keep it, like in NASCAR. You know, it's a unique system. A little bit dangerous, definitely, which is why they scrapped it. But they only scrapped it recently. This guy is trying very hard to push me towards these bollards. I'm not going to let him. Yeah, so me being 9 seconds up on my last lap is gonna turn out to naught as I pull into the pits and lose all that time. But sometimes you got to lose time to make time. In this case, I'll be losing, you know, setting a fastest lap time, a personal best so far in the Let's Play, in order to not have wasted a little over half an hour doing 2 laps that turn out meaningless when I run out of fuel and have to do the whole thing again at some point. If I ran out of fuel in this video, would I put it up anyway? Like I said in the sidecar race, if I didn't win from all the crashes, I'd put it up anyway. No, I would not, because that would be very cheap. I feel. You know, I have to at least finish the race. I know I didn't finish that one Arai Expert Gold Cup series in the 400s, but I mean, we all got the gist of that anyway, because I'd done the same sequence of tracks on the 125s and the 250s, and in, you know, the following episodes I did the same sequence of tracks in 600s, 750s, 1000s, and sidecars. So I think I can be forgiven for that. But, you know, not finishing an actual TT race because I ran out of petrol, that wouldn't reflect well on me, I don't think. Also, I don't know what it is about Governor's Dip, but you usually get a lot of AIs stuck in the outside wall. I remember being a baby boy, going around that corner and getting lost because it was too tight and I couldn't see where I was supposed to go. Right, so brake to the stop. Here we go. Yeah. Fuel load 21, tire compounds medium, gear ratio high. All of that's fine. So let's watch the pit stop. Tires allegedly being changed. Bike has fueled up. Oh, and then you have to manually leave the pit stall. I forgot about that. And I still set a best lap time, despite having to come to a full stop for the pits and then, you know, roll through under computer power. As a 17:36. Still, I should be setting a time that's 36 seconds faster than that. So I'm going to work on that this lap and the next, because now it's just a straight, flat-out run to the finish. Another 35 minutes, probably. A little bit less, I reckon. I have to brush some hair out my eyes. Which is why the little rider sat up for a second. Yeah, like I was saying, I'm not sure how many times I'm going to have to actually do pit stops in this Let's Play. Maybe, you know, maybe in the junior and the senior races, because those are 3 laps, I think. Well, I know that the senior TT is definitely 3 laps. I don't know about the junior. But I'm pretty sure all the other races are 2 laps or less. Well, no, 2 laps. Full stop. Because the Manx races are the ones that are 1 lap. When you go less than 2 laps, you do in 1 lap. Ah, shit, I just had a thought. So in the sidecar event, you know, last week's episode, I talked about how I'm moving everything over to this channel, you know, from everything from my second channel is coming onto this channel, and it's just going to be a massive, constant tsunami of content every week. You know, 6 videos a week, pretty much. Not quite daily uploads, not quite twice daily uploads like some channels, but you know, the majority of a week, with, you know, 2 days I don't upload on, and then 1 day where I upload twice. You know, whatever. The point is, right, that by doing that, again, I have the problem of having 2 Gran Turismo 3 Let's Plays on the same channel. My old abandoned one, which I can't remember why I stopped recording that. I genuinely can't, but I did for some reason. And then I kept playing on that same save file, so it doesn't really make any sense to continue that as a Let's Play. Plus, with the new Gran Turismo concept Let's Play, that'll give me, it's going to give me like a ton of bonus money for Gran Turismo 3 to make the career mode that bit easier on me. Which I'm not sure how I'm going to structure it with all that extra money, because I mean, it will definitely mean less repetition, you know. In that original Let's Play, I was doing the same race a whole bunch of times to try and earn money. I ended up settling on the idea of doing the Mazda MX-5 endurance race a whole bunch of times, in between recording sessions and then coming back to it. But then I never did come back to it, really, so... You know, when I redo the Grid Autosport Let's Play, I'm gonna delete my old Grid Autosport Let's Plays, and, you know, same with Forza Horizon. But Gran Turismo 3, you know, my Gran Turismo 3 videos are where most of my views are, you know. It's Gran Turismo 3 and this game and WRC 2 that have all my views on them, which is what gives me more views than videos I put up, because otherwise I'd have more videos than views, and that would be embarrassing. You know, I mean, I had that change of heart recently, where I decided that my channel was supposed to be for future people coming down and watching videos of games that are unplayable in their time, or, you know, which will never happen because of emulation, but you know how the copyright Nazis are. Or like, rather than having an active viewer base, so my videos will just accrue, or is it accrue or accrue? Whatever, they'll gain views over the years, you know, of just sitting around, being up there for people to find if they want to see PS2 games. But at the same time, I don't want to confuse everyone by having 2 Gran Turismo 3 Let's Plays on the same channel. So maybe that'll be the very final one of the things I use my Boy Blunder channel for, is just playing Gran Turismo 3 again. That makes sense to me. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Or I could stop being a little piss baby and delete my old Gran Turismo 3 videos and play the game again. Or I could just have 2 Gran Turismo series on the same channel. But that's like 50 videos that will be rendered completely, you know, useless by having, you know, hundreds of new ones of the same game, you know, getting through the same races in much less time. I don't think I really said anything like of value and all that. I don't think I ever say anything of value anyway, but, you know, oosh, almost crashed that one. You know, these wheelies where the bike wiggles on the back wheel, that matches up perfectly with, like, clips in that video I have of the 1997 TT. You know, this game, obviously very arcadey, but a lot of it looks accurate, and that's fine. You know, I dig that.
17 miles. And a jump on the way in. Hard on the gas out of this one. Halfway to the lady light. Very fast bend indeed. A big jump out of this one just before Quarry Bend. Back one into here. A bit like short circuit racing. Halfway round the course. 90-mile marker. A really long straight now.
Thinking is happening about what I could say next, because I still have a lap and a half to go. So, you know, that's like
About 20 miles.
another half hour, now that you mention it. So, need to come up with something. My laptop's fan is running very loud. I remember back in the days of my old channel, when I was first mucking about with my Elgato, way back when I used to worry about fan noise much too much, while recording my voice on the actual Elgato itself. I can't remember what kind of hokey setup I had to do that, but I did. I can't do it anymore, because I had a headset from, like, at the latest, this headset must be from 2002, for PCs, that my dad gave me when he first got me the Elgato, and I remember asking for it a lot, because I wanted to do a Let's Play of Forza 4, and then I never made a single video on Forza 4 when I had it. You know, it was all MX vs ATV Reflex, and like the demos for games that you could find on the Xbox Live arcade, which I can't get to anymore because my Xbox Live has run out and I can't afford to buy any more. And to be honest, you know, it's like 60 quid. I don't think it's worth it. You know, I don't play online with my friends anymore. I talk to them in real life every day anyway, so that's fine. And there's various other places we can talk. And I don't really dig the same games that they dig, and you know, and I couldn't afford to buy those games anyway because they usually have like the newer games that are out. You know, I'm not saying anything about that. I'm just saying that I spend all my money buying a million PS2 games, while they spend their money buying, you know, new games that come out every so often. So, you know, oh, for fuck's sake. At least it happened in a slow corner. Hopefully we'll lose. Well, I was about to say hopefully we'll lose less time this time, but the fucking guy just sat there like a fucking turkey for ages. I don't know if you can tell, but I watched the Black Dynamite movie over the weekend, which is why I keep saying dig and turkey. I'll go back to saying like rad at some point, but until then, it's, you know, until things are radical again, I'm gonna dig them. You know what I'm saying?
Really flowing corners. Now you're on the start of the mountain.
Well, I'm still ahead of my last lap time, so if I can not crash going over the mountain, then that'll be a good time.
You need a good line through all these.
Had by all. Yeah, I've thought of stuff that I could put on my second channel, even when I'm not using it for my Let's Plays anymore, because, you know, for now, I've decided that I'll stop being a little piss baby, and I will actually delete my old Gran Turismo 3 videos once I start uploading a new Let's Play of Gran Turismo 3. Although I'll talk more about this in the when I play a Gran Turismo Concept again. You know, because people that like Gran Turismo will probably be watching those videos, and they'll be able to tell me what to do. And then, well, I mean, I don't know. I get a comment every so often, usually on the TT videos, which I haven't talked about enough. You know, I've got a couple of comments from a couple of different people that like they're watching this because you know their PS2 is busted and they can't play it anymore, or like they don't have it or something, and they're liking that I'm putting up, you know, this Let's Play of this game, which, you know, that's pretty cool of them. I like that. I can respect that. I'm glad that they semi-respect me. I'm not sure how much they appreciate me talking about like porn and anime porn by extension. But you know, if you stick around, you like the TT games. You know, you like that I'm playing the TT games. I like that I'm playing the TT games. I like that people like that I'm playing the TT games. You know, it's a big, or the TT game. Sorry, I mean there are TT games, but I'm only playing one. You know, it's just a nice big circle of everyone stroking each other's dicks. It's great. I like having my dick stroked. I'm sure you like having your dick stroked. It's just, it's a good time. A good time had by all, really. No one can deny that. Everyone has a right to have a good dick stroking time while I play the TT game and talk to myself. I don't know, over the last couple of weeks I've noticed my subscriber count increases by 1 every, like, not every few days, but like every couple of weeks, which I still like, because, you know, it gives me, oh, for fuck's sake. Again, another bike has caused me to crash. You know, it's a sidecar race all over again. You know, because as much as, you know, I've decided, like I've already said a couple of times, but it's been like a whole hour, so whatever, that my channel is for a collection of Let's Plays for future people to look at. You know, at the same time, seeing that people are actually watching what I'm putting out as I'm putting it out, and, you know, and how much emphasis I place on getting my upload schedule right. I mean, I don't know why I do that, I just do. I think there's something wrong with it. You know, with all the lists I write and stuff, I seriously think I have something. It starts with A, ends in M. Sounds like Austin, but not quite. Anyway, it's encouraging. It's encouragement, you know. I see that my subscriber count goes up a little bit. I see that my videos, you know, sure, you know, I'm not getting the same amount of views as some of the channels I'm subscribed to, but, you know, some of the channels I'm subscribed to have a couple of 100,000, or at least a couple of tens of thousands subscribers, whereas I have, you know, 30 something. You know, when I get like a decent handful of views, I think, hell yeah, I'm gonna keep doing this. You know, because even back when I first started the channel, and I was getting like 1 view on a couple of videos, and it was just me making sure it processed right. You know, I mean, obviously I kept uploading, otherwise, god fucking damn it, I don't think I've ever slid out there before. I don't know what happened. Yeah, from the looks of things, and I mean, I'll check, but it's 5:45 now, so this race will probably end a little bit after then, which means I'm scraping the skin of my teeth with how much time I have between finishing recording and having people, you know, get home. I'm a bit of a latchkey kid, as it were. Yeah, you know, it's just encouraging to see that I get views and stuff and comments, and and that kind of thing. Good feeling, man. Makes me feel like all warm and fuzzy inside. It's good. Makes me want to bust a fat nut. I had to take a minute to decide with myself if I wanted to finish that or not, and I thought, yeah, fuck it. That's the level I'm on, you know. Right. Last lap of the longest event in the game. I don't know how long the arcade mode event, the Mad Sunday, will take, considering I'll probably crash into literally every traffic car, but you know, that's only one lap, whereas this is 4, so I'm sure even if I crash at every corner and like once on every straight, it'll be painful to watch, but I don't think it'll take like an hour to do. To be honest, until I get to like, you know, the Le Mans game and that kind of thing, this might. Oh, I mean, there'll be a couple of endurance races on Gran Turismo. But I could probably split those up into multiple episodes or keep them this one. I kind of want to. I don't know. Again, need to be crossing bridges when I come to them. Need to stop planning this stuff out so far in advance. But yeah, this will probably be one of the longest videos on my channel for a long time. You know, I mean, on my second channel, I'll probably do the endurance events on Forza. Forza 6, mainly, is the one that I know that there's separate endurance races from the main career on that I might do. But I don't actually know if I'm going to be able to play Forza without my Xbox Live Gold membership. I hope I do. I remember I tried to play Dirt Rally on a day when my internet was playing up, and it wouldn't even let me past the press start screen because I wasn't connected to online. But I mean, the free, I say free, it really limits you a lot, but you know, that's what you should expect from a free membership from a thingy that expects you to pay for it. You get yeah, I'm pretty sure you can still like connect to stuff in silver. It should still let me play Dirt Rally when I have a silver connection. If not, Microsoft are going to get a very strongly worded email that I'm being locked out of playing Dirt Rally just because I wouldn't fork over 60 quid to someone totally unrelated to Codemasters. Whatever. You know, it should be able to connect me. If it doesn't, like I said, I'll complain and see what I can get sorted out. Maybe I can see it. Maybe I could try and bilk them for free Xbox Live Gold membership or something like that as a way to make me stop whinging. But who knows? I probably won't be able to do that. Maybe worth a try though. Not that I really want to play Dirt Rally that much, but you know, I don't want my Xbox One to turn into a useless brick. My parents spent a lot of money on that thing.
Then a long left right into Laurel Bank itself.
I'm not even going to comment on that. You know, we crashed. Fine, whatever. Let's move on.
A slow right-hander.
Another 15 minutes near us makes no difference, and we can all pack up and go home. I can go and wash the dishes and sort out the washing machine and that kind of thing, and you can well, watch another video, I guess, or wish you hadn't wasted all your time watching me play this game, or you know, switch back to porn is what I would do, probably. You know, I'm not going to say I'm a Happy Harry Hard-On from Pump Up the Volume, aka edgy 90s, The Breakfast Club, but I don't know, I kind of yeah, I enjoyed that movie. You know, there were a couple of parts where I was like, what? But at the same time, there were other parts where I was like, this is pretty rad. I mean, it's edgy as fuck, and you have to go into it knowing that it's an edgy 90s teen movie. You know, so you gotta... I'm not saying lower your standards, but it's the kind of thing that I can get into, I guess. You know, oh, fuck. Who put that there? Not even angry about that one, just... whatever. I'm just playing it off now, it's fine. I'm probably like 5 minutes ahead of everyone else, so I'm, you know, it doesn't matter too much. As long as I don't fall off again on this lap, I'll be fine. Well, I'm supposed to come through this corner with a lot more speed. It's more fun. That corner, the faster you go through that corner, the more fun it is, because you can stay flat. You know, brush the wall, brush the fence, brush the fence, the hedge. You know, it's cool. Yeah, anyway, there was the, what's it, the guidance counselor character, don't know his name, but, you know, he gets called from the radio show, twice. You know, the first time it's to ask him about teen pregnancy, if I want to describe it in a roundabout kind of way, because I can't remember the exact details, and I can remember the exact details of the second phone call, but kind of don't want to spoil the film. But yeah, you know, he seems to, his character seems to flip-flop a lot. Like, when they're talking to him about teen pregnancy, he's being demonized, and then he knows later on about, you know, he's actively involved in the expelling of all kinds of the students and stuff, and then like later on, you know, when there's revelations about what the headmistress has been doing, he looks like shocked and appalled, even though he was like I said, actively involved. You know, that's not like the main plot point, so like I don't really worry about. I'm not gonna worry about spoiling that bit too much. But you know what I mean. You know, he wasn't very consistent, and I feel like there were some other elements that were kind of rushed, like the main girl finds out who the radio guy is a little bit too quickly, I guess. And like it's kind of weird that she's able to figure it out, but like the police and stuff aren't. But like, whatever. That's, I can accept that. That's fine.
Not worth doing a big jump. Too much risk of damage. Past Gwen, on towards fellow track.
This race is now officially over an hour long. This recording has been over an hour long for 3 minutes. The race has been over an hour long for 27, 28, 29, 30. An hour and 30 seconds. I'm hungry. I'm just gonna make that comment there. I'm hungry. Hey, hang on a minute. We're 8 minutes into this race is going to turn out to take the same length of time as the Mazda MX-5 endurance race from Gran Turismo 3. Huh. That's a bit kooky. I feel like this race is a fair bit harder than the MX-5 one. Because the MX-5 race is a case of make sure you have the right model MX-5 and change your oil. And there you go. Whereas this is a little bit more difficult. It's don't crash and make sure you remember to pit or you're fucked. I mean, I know you have to pit on Gran Turismo, but you don't run out. Do you run out of fuel on Gran Turismo? I feel like you do. But you know, the tire wear is more of an issue in Gran Turismo. In this game, it's not really. I mean, the tires do wear, but I haven't really noticed the difference. Maybe that's because I'm not using, you know, expert handling where I don't get any assistance from the game in getting the bike around the track. But if I wasn't using expert handling, then I really would be crashing, you know, every time there was a jump, every time there was a corner. So, you know, I think I can be forgiven. Besides, all of the the Dunlop rider training license test challenges in this game force you to use expert handling, and I've gotten gold on all of those except for one, which is literally impossible, and I got silver on the one that's impossible anyway. So, you know, I think I've proved that I can actually handle the physics model of this game just fine. I didn't upload any of the videos of me doing the license challenges because it was, you know, once you've done the one on the 125, you've done them all. I mean, they changed location. You know, the stages get a little bit different, a little bit more difficult. But, you know, once you've done the actual challenges stay the same. And once you've done the one on the 125, you've seen them all. And it's mostly like restarting and stuff anyway. And at the time, I was pretty serious about trying to keep my episodes lengths down. By now, you can see I'm not really too bothered by that. But, you know, I don't want to be cutting the video mid-race. I remember watching some guy Let's Playing Blur a few months ago, and he was sticking fairly rigidly to, you know, a 10-11 minute episode length, which involved cutting the video mid-race, and I realized how annoying that was, and I went back and I looked at the endurance race I did way back on Gran Turismo, and I was like, I think I was aware in that race of where I'd have to be cutting it, and like I was making... No, I didn't, because back in those days, back in the Gran Turismo 3 days, well, the first generation Gran Turismo 3 days, although second generation Gran Turismo 3 hasn't started yet and won't start for a little while, so I think I can get away with just saying Gran Turismo 3 days. Back in those days, I just used to sit down after school on a Tuesday, like I do now, and I think back in those days, I used to be able to... I'm saying back in those days like it was years and years ago. I think it was only like... Oh shit, it would have been like 2 years ago by now. Fucking hell. Well, time flies when you're not paying attention to anything and wishing for death, I guess. And then you wish for death even more because you realise you've wasted your life. I don't know what I'm going to do when I leave school. The future is depressing. I guess that's why I like Cyberpunk so much. Just, it reflects how depressing I think the future is going to be. You know, it's you know, I'm thinking more of like having a depressing future in a personal sense. But there's also, you know, having a depressing future in like the societal sense that Cyberpunk portrays. Blade Runner is a bomb movie, you know. Yeah, I know. I used to just sit down for an hour and 10 minutes and record, and then I'd cut it up into, you know, 10-minute chunks and daily upload it. Which worked at the time. It was a really good idea because there was only one game I wanted to play, and I had one recording session every week where I could just sit there and do it. So, you know, it was cool. It worked. These days I'm doing so much more stuff. You know, I still think an hour and 10 minutes. No, it wouldn't be. Yeah, that's just shy of 6. No, it's well shy of 6. No, is it? An hour and a half would... Yeah, so it's a little bit shy of being able to make 6 15-minute videos. But, you know, for the new me, the new year, the new me, that began with episode 1 of Dirt Showdown, way back when. Already, that's probably like a year plus ago by now. I think. No, not quite. Nearly, but not quite. You know, it's about not cutting videos before I've crossed the finish line. You know, this, that, and the other. And it'd be a lot more difficult to do something like that now, I think, with the way I am now. Because, you know, an hour and 10 minutes, in terms of this race, that'd be one video. And then you know, there'd be a huge gap before the next one. Which I guess there will be with this anyway, unless I decide to co-opt my next recording session and replace a couple of videos from that with another session of this, which I could do. I think I might skip my next Project Gotham Racing session to do some more TT, which I think is next week. Yeah, it is. So I'll be recording some more of this next week, I suppose, and then to you it will be uploaded next week. A lot of shorter races to come. You know, they can't get much longer than this. Another chunk of 2-lappers. You know, we got the lightweight and the production 1000, which are both 2-lap races. Alright, calm down, Mr. Yellow. And then, so those are the next 2 events, depending on if I can get them unlocked, which I probably will be able to. Completing this race is probably going to unlock a whole shit ton of stuff. I could probably get the Junior TT recorded in that session as well. But like I say, I think that might be 3 laps, and then, you know, that's, you know, with just the lightweights and the productions, that's 2 40-minute videos. Plus the Junior, you know. I mean, I have, you know, roughly 2 hours to record every Tuesday. 2 hours and like maybe 15 minutes change. So, you know, 2 40-minute videos. And depending on how long the Junior TT is, you know, maybe I'll be able to squeeze that in as well, but I don't know. Anyway, thanks for crashing so often. I unfortunately wasn't able to get to my lap record, which is a 17 minutes dead. I don't know if anyone will ever believe that I managed to hit that lap, but I swear I did. Let's see if I can do a wheelie. I don't think it will let me pull the front wheel up at, you know, in 5th gear, but it's worth a try. Because I've just won the Formula 1 TT. Nice wheelie. Yeah, there we go. Got a big wheelie. I didn't dump the bike. 2 minutes ahead of John McGuinness with a 1 minute 9 seconds on that one. So I'm going to hope that the game doesn't fail to read, and then I'm going to save. So next week for you and for me, in different senses. Oh, I've unlocked a new exhaust, new wheel, a new video clip. Video clips, I'm pretty sure, don't work anymore. Hurriedly save, and then we'll check what's coming up next week. Overwrite that real quick. Come on, hurry up. Okay, there we go. Right, so next week for you and for me, but in different ways, will come the lightweight / ultra lightweight TT, because they ran that. I think, pretty sure they ran that race at the same time. Well, they ran those 2 races at the same time. And then after that will be the production 1000, and then after that should be the junior. Oh, the junior is only 2 laps, so I guess I will be able to record those 3 all in the same day. I don't know how much I'll have to do to get things back on my 6 episode every recording session schedule. Then after the junior TT is the sidecar race, then the production 600, then the senior TT. So, you know, got all that to look forward to. If you made it to the end of this, an hour and 15 minutes in just minutes is 75. Well, let's end it on that, shall we?